Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, you recall a couple months ago I went to California to surprise my mom for her birthday. And while I was on that trip, among the places I visited was Sutter Mill, the location of the start of the California gold rush. You'll also recall that I bought a gold panning pan and tried panning for gold a little bit on my own, but I didn't really get good results because the little flakes of gold were just so little tiny I couldn't get them with my fingers. And I figured, gee, I really wish I had a pair of tweezers or something I could do this. So what I did is I elected to bring home a small quantity of sand from Sutter Mill and try panning it under a little bit more controlled conditions. And I think today we're going to try that. And I got the tweezers out. We're going to do this inside because it's like 100 degrees out, and I don't really want to be out in the sun anyway. So we're going to try this inside in the air conditioning. I'm going to see how much gold I can pull out of basically a Gatorade bottles full of sand that I brought back from Sutter Mill. I'm very interested to see what I'm going to come up with on this. Let's take a look and see what we're going to do. Yeah, so this is the sand that I brought home. It's it's clearly got some gold in it. You look at it closely and you can see little sparkles in it. So there's definitely some gold in it. I got a pair of tweezers out, and like I said, I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of sand into my panning pan here at a time, and let's see what we can find out of this. This is going to be interesting. Be interesting to see how much gold is actually in this. Let's get going. Alright, so I'm working on the first tablespoon of material. I gotta admit, I'm actually really kind of surprised how much is in here. It may just look like little specks in there, but each one of those is a little flake of gold. And I'm actually kind of interested to see how much is actually going to be in there. Now there's a little bit of soil in there too. I'll filter it out a little bit more when I get to the point where, there's a lot of stuff in here. But just 1 tablespoon of sand, and I'm actually getting a fair amount of gold out of this. So it's kind of interesting that even after 140, 150 years, there's still gold coming out of this mountain. All right, a couple hours have gone by. I've been through about 3 tablespoons of the sand I pulled from Sutter Creek, and I actually pulled quite a bit of gold out of this thing. I think there's probably quite a bit more in there, because assuming that the amount of gold that's left over in there, like I said, I got 3 tablespoons and I got this much gold out of it. I'm sure there's quite a bit more in there. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to pause for now, because this is a little hard on my back, leaning over this thing all the time. But what I do want to do is I want to separate the gold from the water, and I knew I got a little bit of sand in here also, so I want to kind of get the water out of it, separate the sand from the gold, and put the gold in a little jug thing that I can hold it in. So that's gonna be the next step, is to separate the gold from the dirt, and I'll get back to you in a few minutes and let you see what I ended up with. All right, so I've done some of the filtering, got a little bit of the sand and miscellaneous debris out of there. That's actually a fairly decent amount of gold. So I don't know, I thought I expected I'd get a little bit out of there, but that's a lot more than I expected. I'm gonna go put this in this little tube thing that I have that has gold that I got from another visit to a gold mine, and this is probably gonna triple or quadruple the amount of gold I had from before. And like I said, there's still a lot more to go here, so we'll probably pick this up at some point in the future and get some more gold out of there. But yeah, there is still gold in them hills. So I'm going to go through that in a little tube. I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, so I've successfully transferred the gold that I found into this little vial here. Like I said, I had gone to do some mining for gold many years ago, and I got a couple little flakes out of it, and it came in this little jar too, in this little vial too, and I decided to put this in here. This is way more than I had before those, so I don't know, that's kind of cool. It's hard to imagine that kind of gold is just sitting there even 140 years later. It's still kind of hanging out in there, and it's still in that river. So like I said, we'll come back to this at some other point and probably try and get some more out of there. But yeah, that's a decent amount of gold, huh? Now you may recall in yesterday's video I pulled the pool vac out, cut the swivel mount off of the off the cable, and hopefully reattached it and made it waterproof. And this is the third time the pool vac has been run now, and the pool's looking a lot better, and it is working. The pool vac is working really well right now. So it's good to know that my attempts to make this thing more waterproof have been successful, and this pool, like I said, is starting to look really nice now. Now I want to show you something else that kind of happened that was kind of interesting here as I was kind of wandering around here, because I thought this was very, very cool. Let me show you this. So ever since I moved here, I've seen these things all over the place and always wondered kind of what they are. First time I mentioned it, I saw it in a cemetery in downtown Waco, and I questioned at the time what they were, and somebody pointed out that these are the cocoons of cicadas, which are insects that spend most of their life underground, and then at some point they come above ground, they shed their exoskeleton like this, and they turn into a winged creature that kind of lives in the trees. Now it was funny because I was just out here looking at the pool, and I saw something hanging from the hose from the pool sweep that I fixed today, and I realized this is the first time I've actually seen one of these cicadas and the creature that's emerging. Look at this thing. I've never seen one of these things before alive. I'm actually going to move it a little bit so that if he drops off, he doesn't end up in the pool. But check that out. That's the cicada right there. I have never seen one of these things before. But you can't help but hear them in the trees at night, especially in the summer. I guess it's like a butterfly event, you know, it emerges out of its cocoon, and then it takes a little while for everything to, you know, for the wings to dry and all that stuff, and then it'll fly away and it'll be off making noise in the trees very, very soon. Never seen one of those before. How awesome is that? Just hanging out while he gets ready to take off. Alright, so I think that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed both my little mini gold rush and a follow-up on the pool, and of course getting close-up footage of that cicada. I've never seen one of those very close before, so that was really kind of exciting for me. It's kind of interesting because you see those exoskeletons all over the place, but I've never actually seen one of the creatures that come out of them. So I think that is all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.